And I'm live from Geneva. My name is Megha Sharma, and this is the Interparliamentary Union 151st Assembly that is taking place over here. And joining me right now on the show is a Member of Parliament from Ireland. I have with me Noel O'Donovan. And Noel, thank you very much for talking to us on NewsX World. And of course, this is your first time at the IPU. What has your experience been?
It's been a great experience so far. I've been a member of Parliament in Ireland since February, so it's been great to meet colleagues from right across the world here in Geneva, and I suppose share experience of how Parliament works. I suppose speak on the issues on the international stage that we need to see improved upon. As a nation, we're a small country, but we say at home we do represent ourselves very well on the national stage. We speak out when there's need to speak out, so that's been really beneficial, I suppose, to talk to colleagues from right across the world in the last few days here in Geneva.
Uh, how relevant is the Interparliamentary Union at a global stage, and also particularly specifically to your country and you as a parliamentarian?
I, I suppose our country, we're one of the longest democracies in the world. So to share that experience, I suppose, on an international stage, share what we do well in our country and explain that to developing countries is really important. And that makes the IPU really relevant. And I suppose I know there's my colleague Lorraine Clifford Lee is on the health committee within the IPU. So I suppose to share experiences of how Irish health policies developed in recent years with developing countries. So it is really relevant. And it's been a great experience to see how that all operates here in Geneva.
Absolutely. Talking about the larger theme of IPU this year, we're talking about humanitarian aid, we're talking about human rights, and this has all happened in wake of conflicts taking place all across the globe. We saw it in West Asia, we saw it in Europe, where the war continues between Ukraine and Russia. We've seen something similar in Sudan, we've seen something similar in Pakistan as well. How do you view the work that can be done in concretized ways for parliamentarians like you towards this goal that is achievable in the coming future?
Well, there's no doubt about it. I suppose as human beings, it shocks us all to see conflict throughout the world at the moment. We see our mothers, our fathers, our children in dire straits. We see people losing their lives on our TV screens day in, day out. It's really shocking, I suppose, first as a human being. And I mentioned earlier, I suppose, that through our history in our country, we have had conflict. We've come through a successive peace process, even though we're still working on it in our country. So we can share our experience and our understandings at a national stage. And as I mentioned, speaking out, working with our allies across the world to achieve policy gains, to ensure ceasefires in these countries, but also to world leaders and countries who don't act properly and don't abide by humanitarian laws and policies. And we use our voice to speak out. And that's something we've done in the chamber here in the IPU. And it goes back to the relevance of the IPU, that we're amongst friends, but we're also amongst allies. But it's important we speak out. So the IPU is really relevant.
You also spoke at the Interparliamentary Union, the general debate that was taking place just a short while ago. What are the key points that you have highlighted at this global event?
Well, for me in our country, I suppose we've had a we place historic importance on humanitarian aid. It goes back to our historic days in St. Patrick, our national saint, St. Columbanus, when we would have walked across Europe and developing monasteries, or later our Catholic ethos and building schools across the globe. So we see that work continuing as a country. We have a 305 million budget last year in terms of humanitarian support to countries throughout the world. That's being maintained this year, while we see world leaders in various countries reducing their humanitarian budgets. And that's for Ireland to speak out and to call out and to ask world leaders and countries to maintain their humanitarian budgets. So that was one of my key points I wanted to make to colleagues right across the world, that when we do see these conflicts, it's important children, parents, human beings are supported through these conflicts, which of course shouldn't be happening.
Now, artificial intelligence is the global flavor. In fact, there is going to be a session on artificial intelligence here at the IPU as well. How has Ireland come to terms with the risks that are involved with artificial intelligence and absorbing it, adopting it? Also, are there any frameworks within the governance model that the Ireland government is working on?
So artificial intelligence is happening. There are challenges, there are fears amongst society with artificial intelligence. And yes, the Irish government, the Irish Oireachtas, the Houses of our Parliament, have recently set up an Oireachtas committee to completely investigate and to assess and analyze I suppose, its uses, its potential benefits, but also to put in place protections for our society. I actually sit on the Artificial Intelligence Committee. We've met a number of times with various sectors. So, look, as we know with AI, it is continually evolving. I refer to, and you can put similarities when Google search engine started, and there would have been fears about that. AI has its benefits, but there are unknowns as well, and it's important that governments put in place frameworks as soon as possible. And the Irish Parliament, as I mentioned, is taking a lead on developing certain frameworks in that respect. But it is going to change the world we live in.
Absolutely. What are your views on the tariff wars that have hit economies all across the globe? How is Ireland facing this challenge?
Let me say from the outset, tariffs are not good. Tariffs are not good between countries. We are a small country on the periphery of Europe. Our export market is really important to it. We've quite an established pharmaceutical sector. Uh, as I mean, tariffs are not good. We have to speak out and work with our allies to ensure that tariffs are not reduced, are not there at all. That would be our preference. But it is only by working with our colleagues, as in the conference here, the IPU, that we can work through these tariff wars that are in place.
Absolutely. Talking about India and Ireland relationships, what potential do you see in the future of moving forward towards closer ties, whether it is diplomacy or trade or people to people connect?
I think there are wonderful opportunities there. Diplomacy is about people, it's about communications, it's about sincerity. We have a very close relationship with India. I think in trade terms, it's in around 16 billion euros within exports in terms of pharmaceuticals and textiles. We had a recent Prime Minister of Ireland, Leo Varadkar, who was of Indian origin, a current member of Parliament, Martin Daly from Roscommon. His mother was from India. So there are wonderful links between our two countries. We have a friendship group within our parliament. I represent West Cork, which is on the southwest coast of Ireland. In Aikishta, we have the Air India Memorial, Flight 182, and you
Yeah.
recently had the 40th anniversary of that deep tragedy. So there are great cultural links between our countries. And I hope, speaking on the world stage, international stage, that our relations will grow even further. And I'm delighted to be speaking to you today, directly to people of India, about our close friendship bond.
Talking about Indian food, Indian cuisine, of course, it's popular all across the globe.